Oh my God, it's so good you're off screen right now. If people could see what
you're doing,
they would be absolutely shocked. Oh, hey guys. Guys, I didn't see you there. I was just talking to my best friend there off screen. I was just talking to a guy who's off screen.
All right, back to Duncan. What's he saying about Pete?
Here's what's fascinating to me about accusing Peter Thiel of being the Antichrist.
Stuff. He's very much
give a talk and awesome. And it was like totally normal dude, obviously super smart. There didn't feel like there was any kind of like subversive anything, nothing to really be scared of.
My God. Oh my God, this is one of those guys that makes me feel stupid, you know? Like the content that I'm making is trash, which it is, let's be honest. No. Thank you for saying it's fine. Oh, you said it is garbage. Okay, shut the... Couple people asked me about this video. What the hell is it? The Elephant Graveyard. He's done a couple of these Joe Rogan videos. This one is feature length film length. It's 90 minutes long. It's like a real movie. And man, oh man, did this guy do a ton of research into this. There's this part in this video. I don't know anything about Tony Hinchcliffe. Like literally, basically zero. Actually, the only thing I know about him is I was walking down 6th Street in Austin one night and a Kill Tony was getting out and people had Kill Tony merch on. They went to see Kill Tony, showing their support merch-wise. And I was like, whoa, this thing is some kind of cultural force. But this guy absolutely, I don't know if he has researchers helping him with these videos, but he found stuff on Kiltony that I was like, how did you find that? Let's just say Anthony Kiltony. He's been doing some parallel thinking. He's been doing some parallel thinking to other comedians. Let's just maybe. That this Elephant Graveyard guy found. But this is probably the most shocking part. This part was jarring to me.
And it was like totally normal dude, obviously super smart. There didn't feel like there was any kind of like subversive.
Actually, of the whole feature-length film video, this part I was like, wow, yikes. He's, I like Duncan Turtle. Duncan Trussell. He always seems like a really nice, sweet guy. And there's this part that the Elephant Graveyard dug up, and maybe I should look at the full context of this, because they are like absurdist guys. Especially he's talking to Johnny Pemberton, and I've heard them talking before, and they are absurdist. So, but if true, no offense, if true, there's a shocking reversal for I have mad because I've heard Johnny Pemberton and Duncan Trussell before. They might be having a laugh. So I'm fact-checking Elephant Graveyard. Fact-checking his ass. But if not, yikes.
Joe Rogan Podcast.
Joe Rogan, my name's Joe Rogan.
Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan
My name's
Podcast
Joe
by
Rogan.
night.
I urge you to check this out.
It's amazing how not traveling all the time affects your health.
No,
you feel so much better.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And it's getting crazy.
You know, man, I've been listening to the Joe Rogan program for years and years.
100 years, you know?
And I never really thought about that line. What does the guy say? Train by day, Joe Rogan at night? What does that mean? Why did I just let that go for so long? So I went and I looked it up. What does this mean? I went to the Joe Rogan fan wiki. And so here's the meaning of that. Every time you turn on Joe Rogan, you're going into what we call the intellectual octagon. Guys, shut up, man.
Guys, take it seriously. I swear to God.
You're going into the intellectual octagon, so when Joe Rogan comes on at night, you better be getting that noodle ready, or else you're not going to have it.
It's going to crack under the pressure, man.
And it's getting crazy on the internet, on planes now.
Oh, I know, man. Dude, what happened where these altercations are fairly regular? Like at airports, you see them brawls at airports all the time.
Yeah, I have a theory.
All the
What is
time.
it? They don't want you flying.
No,
No, dude. You think I'm crazy? You think I'm crazy? I'm dead serious. There's like a Agenda 2050, and literally in there it lists no more commercial flying.
Okay, we watch Joe Rogan on this channel. We go, hey, what's up with Joe? 1 million people watch this in a week. Wow. I would like to see Joe Rogan react to that Elephant Graveyard feature-length film. Do you think Joe Rogan has seen any? I wonder if the Joe Rogan comedy world, like, he protects him from, don't look at that, Joe, you know.
That guy's an enemy, Joe, you know.
But this is like a classic Joe Rogan guest right here. I love this guy. Sam Tripoli. This is an interesting guy and like the perfect Joe Rogan guest because he's just like, this is a type of guy that Joe Rogan loves. And I met a lot of these kind of guys in Austin in the early 2000s who they're conspiracy theorists, you know, which that's fun. I like that. I like conspiracy theorists, but there's just nothing containing or shaping the conspiracy theories. Like, it's just, they're looking for conspiracy theories where it just doesn't make sense. First, Joe is like, there's fights in airports all the time. I've been in, airports. I see people's kids having a meltdown, crying, people snapping at each other, get that crap, just people being frustrated. But like, first they're assuming that there's like fights breaking out, like brawls. And then Sam Tripoli is like, this is what they do. This is how they do it. They're staging these fights. So you go, I don't want to fly anymore. And that's how the elites control you, Or, and this is where you're going to see Sam Tripoli go uncontained. He's going to go off the
Toilet
on this one a little bit. But what about this, man? What if you didn't want certain people to fly, you just make sure they don't have enough money to do so, which is, by the way, exactly what happens. Oh, they're staging fights so us guys, millionaire comedy guys, don't fly. I mean, what's more likely, man? Sam Tripoli. I mean, I think this might be the way to get on Joe Rogan, because everybody's trying to figure out I've been trying to figure it out. How do I get on Joe?
Because my comedy career is in the absolute goddamn
public toilet. My comedy career is in the Comedy Store
Toilets.
And I think this is the way to get on Joe Rogan. Just start a YouTube channel where you come up with the most dead-end conspiracy theories. Oh, Sydney Sweeney came from back in time from Göbekli Tepe.
Göbekli Tepe.
Göbekli Tepe is.
And then she gave Graham Hancock a kiss on his lips. But, I don't know how many people really engage with this, or adopt this approach. But conspiracies are real, man. They exist. They're out there. People have to, we've been seeing a lot of it. And the most, the biggest ones are just kind of out in the open. But the Joe Rogan program has always been a big outlet for this, like, usually completely evidenceless, but more importantly, dead end conspiracy theories. Just that don't give you too much insight into how the world actually works. Here we go. Check out this part right here, man.
That is your programming. Then you go to school and it's been infiltrated by all these cultural Marxists, and they're just pushing this thing to get you to hate your own country, hate the establishment, hate all this stuff. So you have this entire country where everybody's fighting with each other. And that's all done to cause, maximum chaos, because people are easy to manipulate and control when they're in anxiety. They're going to, and like this whole thing with like taking over Washington, D.C. right now, everyone acts like this has just started. This started way back with BLM, defund the cops. This has always been the goal. It's called pressure from above, pressure from below. You're afraid to go on the streets, and you have no faith that your politicians are going to save you. So you have no hope. So you're completely and utterly lost, and you're just demanding that you be kept safe, which is the ultimate goal, which is martial law.
Lost.
That's what they want, and that's what they've been doing.
Ironically, I'm kind of getting lost now. Okay, I don't know exactly the hell who this guy is, really. I think this might be the first time I've seen this Joe Rogan sphere dude. But seems like a, somewhat curious guy. There's some stuff I agree with him on in this, But I was reading through the comments, and apparently, how do you say that? Apparently. What a weird word. How do you guys say that? Apparently, he's one of the Joe Rogan, like, house conspiracy guys. And I love conspiracy guys and gals.
I love my conspiracy guys and gals.
But I figured this out a long time ago. I used to go to this place in Austin that doesn't exist anymore because nothing that should exist there exists anymore. But from what I heard, it's where Alex Jones kind of, like, got his start or something. But it was a conspiracy place, and I remember going in there, I was like, I don't know. Some of this stuff seems pretty convincing. Some of these people seem like nut jobs, you know? I was trying to figure out, because I would go there all the time and they would just burn people's CDs. Oh, you gotta check this out, man. The towers, they're actually still up, bro. The towers, they're actually still up, bro. It was like, I kind of like this. These people seem on like they're on some kind of quest for the truth. I do like that, but some of them just seem like out of control narcissists, maybe. So how do I tell the difference? How do I tell the difference, and how do I parse out this crap that they're burning on CDs for me? Also, how do they pay the rent here? Because nobody ever buys anything. Those were the things I was trying to figure out. And it's kind of obvious if you think about it. It's like, does it seem like they started on an honest quest of the world? Do they have a basic understanding of how our like economy, social system, all this crap works? And then they started looking into the more conspiratorial stuff? Or are they just like, oh, if I say this, if I'm scrolling on the internet all day and I find the most wacky conspiracy theory, I kind of win because some other guy didn't know about it. Hey, man, I don't know if you knew this one, probably not, but JFK, he ran up real quick to that book depository, shot himself, man. Ran back down before the bullet landed. Oh, really? Okay. Also, one more before we move on. I went to that same conspiracy bookstore because I had like $8 million in parking tickets or some kind of tickets.
Because I had, not a lie, $8 million in parking tickets.
$850 million in parking tickets. And there was a guy giving a presentation on how to get out of parking tickets. And he said he was a lawyer. And about a third into the presentation, he said we needed to overthrow the local government to get out of these parking tickets. I was like, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. Is there any like legal, you know?
That is your programming. Then you go to school and it's been infiltrated by all these cultural Marxists, and they're just pushing this thing to get you to hate your own country, hate the establishment, hate all this stuff.
He's just like mixing up everything. Cultural Marxism, you know, I would say that term itself is like part of a conspiracy, but you know, whatever, okay. And then he's basically saying like any protest is bad, kind of. Like any disorder is meant to confuse people and then they don't know what to do.
And like this whole thing with like taking over Washington, D.C. right now, everyone acts like this has just started. This started way back with BLM. Defund the cops. This has always been the goal. It's called pressure from above, pressure from below. You're afraid to go on the streets, and you have no faith that your politicians are going to save you. So you have no hope. So you're completely and utterly lost, and you're just demanding that you be kept safe, which is the ultimate goal, which is martial law.
Lost.
That's what they want, and that's what they've been doing.
I mean, the protests in 2020 for the reason couldn't have been clearer. You know, there was like a viral moment of police extreme violence, and people were like, no, we don't like that. They went out and protest all over the world. So that was fake from the government. And what would be the point of that? Don't they want people to just be quiet? You know, shut up, get back to work. You know, it doesn't lead you anywhere except to, I don't know, more video watching.
All these cultural Marxists, and they're just pushing this thing to get you to hate your own country, hate the establishment, hate all this stuff.
I think I laughed out loud at this part because it's like the whole thing is like there's all these the elites are conspiring, and then school tricks you into hating the establishment. But wait, aren't you saying that the establishment is tricking everybody? What? Aren't they doing all these conspirings to conspire, you know? But then it was like, oh, wait, right. They're like smoking weed and drinking, and then drinking like bulletproof coffee on this thing. If I was doing that for 3 hours on the Joe Rogan show, I probably would have given out my real address by now. So, maybe the guy deserved. I would have accidentally flashed my debit card number and PIN and given out my real address. But it's a tough spot. And this is probably very difficult being one of the conspiracy guys on Joe Rogan because, you know, the elites and the establishment, they're doing all this crap, man. Well, you guys kind of are the establishment now, you know, so then it's like, people shouldn't protest either. I mean, the establishment's doing all this crap. People shouldn't protest, though, or do anything, actually. because that creates chaos. Okay, all right. Okay, so what are we doing here?
Breaks it down, dude. There was famous cases in the the 50s and 60s where kids
I
were
love
like
those
radical
times.
communists on the campuses, and they said that something's going wrong here, and they broke off and they testified in front of either Congress or Senate, and they basically said the goal is to basically bring in martial law. And these kids who are all think they're raging against the machine, they don't realize the machine is funding all of this stuff. It's like the No Kings.
Right.
When the Latinos are really smart. Like when Eddie and I do shows all the time, there's tons of Mexicans, tons of Latinos in the crowd. They get conspiracies. So when No Kings was happening in LA, there were like gang leaders who told their entire block, nobody can go to these things. Because they all found out it was funded by the Walmart heir. Like that's what always happens. The billionaires fund these kind of radical groups to sow chaos.
Yeah, again, I don't know nothing about No Sam Tripoli. I've heard the name before.
So I don't know nothing about him.
In this interview, he seems, again, like a somewhat curious guy. Seems interested in a lot of stuff, but stuff like this, it's like, where do you go with this? What do you do with this exactly? Because it sounds like you're saying like every protest is fake. I mean, there was like a giant protest in New York City just like a week ago. You know, they like shut down a major street in New York City. It was like a demonstration, you know? Was that fake? Yeah. It doesn't really add up. It's kind of all over the place. You know, there's these shadowy elites. They're doing all this crap to trick us. But any protest is fake. And it creates chaos. Don't do that either. It's all fake. Everything's fake. Oh, okay. What do I do? Yeah. Like and subscribe, I guess. Here, like, check this crap out right here. What is this? This is always like the top comment on a Joe. When I go to watch my Joe stories, I always see this comment. And it says,
generally speaking, Chinese people look Chinese.
No, they don't. 27 seconds in and Mike Baker called 3 times already. Okay. Who? You know, like this one, people are always like, oh, you know, that guy, that CIA guy that comes on Joe Rogan all the time, you know, he's there to trick Joe. He's there to manipulate Joe, or he's Joe's handler, all this stuff. I don't know what the exact truth with all that is, but at least this is not a totally crazy or without precedent theory, you know? You know, there's a lot of historical examples of people getting influential and big and getting a lot of followers, and then people are like, okay, we could use this as a way to spread our message, or they control that person, or hold on a second. What? Right, yeah. Right, I got to convince them to buy Blue Chew because there's mind control stuff in there. Okay, I will. So, you know, there's no like real direct or smoking gun evidence on that, but you know, there's a lot of historical precedent for that kind of thing. So that's a credible conspiracy theory right there. But what we're seeing here with this guy's just a sort of shotgun approach. It's like, I saw a fight in an airport. And by the way, is Joe starting these fights? Is that why he keeps seeing them everywhere? He sees somebody with their shoes off, or somebody who like at the gate, you know, just like lays on the floor. You know, they have their phones set up like they're watching a TV. They're eating something. They're eating a package of $25 almonds, and Joe just goes over, kicks them in the face.
Is that why he's seeing all these fights?
Because they don't want people to fly anymore. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's an interesting theory, I guess. Great. Does it go anywhere? No, not at all.
Stop! Everyone stop participating in it.
Down.
It's dumb.
Right.
Meritocracy.
I would love that.
Meritocracy for
I
personality.
would love that too. Hey, shut up.
Meritocracy for the way you can hold a conversation with people. Meritocracy for being a better musician. Meritocracy for being a funnier comedian. Meritocracy. Everybody's the same.
Meritocracy
Even
for wearing
playing
shirts,
field in
ringer
terms of
shirts.
acceptance of what you do in the world. Just do your best.
Yeah,
Meritocracy for having a nice sign, custom. So yeah, I did think this was some guys missing the bigger picture with the conspiracy stuff here. Here's a good example, you know. It's like, did you know there's a hologram if you go to the Guy Fieri restaurant, there's a hologram that the
Pentagon put down there, you know.
It's all these kind of complex conspiracy theories, but like here's one that's just kind of like out in the open, and they're just like, yeah, no, we accept that wholeheartedly. meritocracy. Where did Joe even get that word meritocracy? I'm kind of curious about that. Because that's kind of obviously largely a trick, No offense. No offense to Joe. No offense to Joe or Sam. That's largely a trick, right? There's some little places where we could talk about merit, in some ways, but largely, and I think mostly, this is a way to avoid looking at ways we could make society better and just foist everything onto individuals. Oh, something's wrong. That's your fault. That's your personal individual fault. Oh, you don't have health care? Well, that's your fault, moron. Meritless idiot, That's usually the way that's talked about and where Joe Rogan and these guys get that stuff, from like PragerU crap or something. Oh, people should be allowed to do a crypto scam on you because if you didn't just see that coming, then you didn't have the merit to figure it out, you moron. Yeah, why not just make that illegal, I think it's a lot of that kind of stuff. But that's a trick. That's a conspiracy that these guys missed. It's a very important and out in the open one, but the fights in the airport are fake. Those are actors. Delta and American Airlines got together. They get people to fight, so you get stressed out. You see that fight, then when you get on a plane, you buy more drinks because you need to relax more.
So there was a show, I forget the show, something
Friends.
Finding Monsters or something like that on the History Channel, I believe. One of those shows. You know those shows?
Yeah.
And they were trying to find out what rods were. So they set up cameras, just try to see if they could capture them and film. And then they set up a super high speed camera in the same location.
Thank God.
They did it over like a little campfire so that bugs would be flying around. And I think it was a campfire. Whatever, some kind of a light where bugs were flying around, and then they were filming it. And then on the high-speed camera, you could clearly see it was bugs. But on the low-speed camera, it looked like aliens. Like these things are long, tubular things that we've never identified flying through the air, but it's just video artifacts.
Cameras are weird.
Okay. This thing slows it down. It doesn't look like a bug.
Let's see it.
Did you find it? It's like, it was like one of the newer videos I put out.
What do you think it is? I think it's a UFO.
Yeah, there are like genuinely funny moments on the Joe program. And I thought this one was kind of funny because Joe was like, Joe believed this. Like he saw some tube aliens. He saw a video with some tube aliens that were clearly just like bugs flying in front of the camera. He's like, what the hell? All has been revealed. We're taking the elevator to the underground area of my compound. I need Bert Kreischer. What's the other guy's name? Ari?
Then suddenly videos now are popping up all over Twitter. If you go to my Twitter, samtripoli.com, there's a video right now of a guy playing catch with his dog, and he throws the Frisbee.
Right.
And when the dog goes up to grab the Frisbee, suddenly you see something just fly through the air that is a silver, like cigar-looking thing.
Okay, let me see this video because...
Hey, Joe, whoa, Joe. Okay, I get it. You're the king of all comedy. But you're acting like a real king right now. Not letting anyone else speak. May I speak, my lord? Oh, okay. Totally forgot what I was going to say. Oh, right. To that guy. The dog part of that is not the dog catching a Frisbee part. You could just say, oh, somebody caught on tape another one of these cigar things. A lot of people have stories about seeing like crafts and stuff. Who knows, It's weird. There's so much of that, but none of it's like, exactly like convincing or something. I mean, I'm sure there's crap floating around up there, but it's probably just the military testing some crap. And then they're like, oh, maybe that was E.T. up there. Maybe that was Signs starring Joaquin Phoenix up there. Maybe that was Contact crap starring Jodie Foster. Okay, enough. I mean, who knows? I do like, this is actually kind of a funny episode because Joe keeps losing his cool. Joe keeps losing his patience with this guy a little bit. He's like, okay, you're watching a few too many YouTube videos, I think Joe is getting a little tired of this stuff. Like he'll still do an episode on UFO or something, but he's kind of like, I don't care anymore. I want to talk to some guy about how actually crypto should be totally deregulated. He does seem to be getting sick of it, and I like it. This guy starts getting out. This lady told me there was a cigar tube. And then I saw a video with kind of a cigar tube. And Joe's like, I don't know, a lot of these tubes are just the camera. I don't know. Who cares?
Here's a dog.
Zoomed in.
Bro, that dog's gangster. That's a good
Oh,
dog.
Joe. Okay, Joe found the Frisbee video. Okay, so maybe that was useful information, because Joe found the video.
Adult baby.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, let me see it again.
And then just let it
Check
play
that
because it shows you what it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shut up, Jamie.
Let's see.
Dumbass.
Sam, that's a bug.
You think that's a bug? Mm-hmm. Okay, he's going to slow it down.
I think it's a fast-moving bug.
No, Joe. Shut up, Joe.
Do you think that there's that thing behind it? Here's the thing, is that the inability of the video to catch it? Because it doesn't seem like it, because the video is catching it. Man, the blurry shit behind it's weird.
What blurry shit?
You know, where it looks like it almost has like a jet coming out of the back.
That is weird.
I
What do you
think
think
that's
that
all
is?
part of it.
What do you think that is,
Could
Jamie?
be.
It's a bug.
Right, but what's that trail
You
behind
think
it?
that's
up,
a bug?
The wings.
Jamie!
It's like a fucking...
Yeah,
Are you
as it's
insane
moving
right
fast,
now?
so
Whoa,
it's
whoa, whoa,
stretched.
Joe, let me step in here. Jamie, shut up, man. You want to get pile driven right now?
Boom.
Yeah, then shut up, man. Okay. That's not a bug, man. You're a bug. Yeah, I mean, this is where this stuff gets, like, boring, honestly. You know, like, conspiracy theories and stuff, I think are fascinating, a lot of them. You know, like, the real ones. But this kind of thing where you're watching a video and you're like, I don't know much about videos. That's weird looking.
Let me see what that is.
You know, I don't know. Video does weird stuff. So, this doesn't really go anywhere. You know, I like conspiracy-minded people because they want to know what's really going on. I think that's a good instinct. But this kind of thing where it's just like, I found this video. Look at that. Oh! What is it? That's a tube.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, this is a lot of fun. You know, tube alien bugs, airport fights that are staged actors. Deep state airport actors starting fights, and then you go, ooh, this is what they do, man. Oh, I don't want to deal with those idiots. I'll go first class. I'll pay for first class where I get more room just in case there's a fight. That's how they get you to upgrade, bro. So alien bug silver tubes, fake airport fights, all this crap. Here's another great theory. Let's check this one out.
Lead.
We talked about that the other day. They fucking knew that lead was going to poison people, and they put it in anyway because they could save money.
Did you ever hear the conspiracy about that?
About what? Leaded gasoline?
About lead?
No.
That it doesn't really cause that, and the reason they wanted to get lead out of paint is because it made it harder for them to see through walls, and that's why all these new houses have glass windows for walls. They're like, look at your amazing view through this glass window. I was watching like one of those home flipping shows, and they took out a wall and they just put a giant glass there, and the theory is that it's easier to look through that.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Or that.
And
Shut up, Joe. Hey, Joe, don't do that condescending like that. Oh, okay. Okay, Mr. Smarty. Shut up, Joe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is kind of charming in some kind of way. That almost seems like an old-timey conspiracy theory. Oh, they're trying to look through the walls. So they convince people. The CIA cutout called HGTV. They put all this crap about how glass, all the floor-to-ceiling glass, they made people think that's cool, but it's just easier to see in there. What if they put, like, blackout curtains? Oh, no, you're not allowed. That's illegal. That's kind of a fun, I don't know, like a fun. I mean, Joe's, like, immediately off, but he's like, okay. That seems like an old-timey, charming little conspiracy theory, in an era of like mass digital surveillance that they would be like, also we want to be able to look through walls. So let's convince people through home flipping shows and IKEA ads or whatever that floor to ceiling glass windows are beautiful. And we could just look right in there. What are we looking at? Pervert stuff. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if that's what the deep state is supposed to. I'm new here at the deep state. I don't think that's what we do. But it is what we do. It's the main thing we do, actually. Whoa. Hold on. I'm getting at the...
Dip. Oh!
We got a little segment here that people absolutely hate, and it totally affects the view time and thus algorithmic preference with recommending this video terribly. That's right. Person of the day.
Embattled New York Mayor Eric Adams' campaign aide is apparently bringing the phrase "all that and a bag of chips" to a whole new level. Hey. Get this, according to a reporter from the city, A longtime Adams confidant and staffer, Winnie Greco, tried to give the reporter a wad of cash inside of a crumpled up potato chips bag.
Heard about this story, so I guess this is person of the day. Who exactly is the person of the day in this story? Oh, Mayor Eric Adams. There he goes. The great Mayor Eric Adams of New York City, whose main policy is to spread the word that
Osama bin Laden was right.
Good luck to you, Eric. But I guess there's some big story here. Some lady who used to work for Mayor Eric Adams gave some reporter a bag of chips. An empty bag of chips, I'm hoping. I'm guessing. I put a little something extra on top if you write a good story. Under $200 and some chips. I ate some also. But this is an interesting story because, like, you know, Mayor Eric Adams, he's kind of a scammy guy, you know? He's kind of scammy. And if you read the story about this lady who just tried to give a reporter, I'm guessing, under $200 in a bag of chips, it's actually more suspicious to give someone an open bag of chips. You know, just giving them an envelope, you're like, oh, those people are doing some business crap or something, I don't know. But some weird bag of chips is like, what's in there? But yeah, this is just an example of, you know, kind of a dysfunctional, corrupt government. Everybody in this guy, Mayor Eric Adams' orbit is somehow up to something, you know? So, you know, maybe that's why people voted for a new guy, and hopefully he will not get involved in a bunch of scams. Well, there we go, guys. An absolute or partial, you know, I'll leave that to you to decide, fire another one. Many are saying it's a fire another one. Many are saying it was an absolute dud. They're saying, stop saying that. Don't forget to subscribe on Patreon if you now haven't already, because you're missing all kind of crap. There's a guy who's going to talk about that. I don't know what that guy's problem is. He can go to hell for all I care, but you guys do not do that. It is our least favorite day, but I hope you have a good week. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Texty to Speech, Ledrin James. Haha, OMG. I sound so dumb. Anyway, please subscribe on Patreon because you're missing episodes every single week. Just click the link in the description and you can become a member for as little as $2 per month and get every episode and lots of other shows and podcasts. Bye-bye.